How's it going, runners? Justin Thompson, Average Running PT here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about different features and benefits of different aspects of shoes. So we all love talking about shoes, but today what I want to specifically talk about is stack height in a shoe and how is it beneficial or potentially detrimental to you. But before we get into that, I'm going to take you guys on a little trip to the eye doctor because I got to make sure that you guys are seeing me well enough. So let's go ahead and do that now. So here's what we're going to do. Just like when you go to the eye doctor and you go and see them and they say, which one do you like better, number 1 or number 2? Well, that's what we're going to do today. So I want you guys to tell me, which one do you like better, number 1 or number 2? Oh, Justin, I don't know. I can't even, okay, let's try it again. Number 1, number 2. So let me know in the comments down below which angle you prefer, and I'll definitely make sure and do it that way going forward. And big thanks to Manuel who gave me the idea for this series. So if you guys leave some comments down below about what you want to learn about, I will definitely consider putting those into the channel. So go ahead and leave me some comments down below. So here's a quick look at the shoes that I wear on a regular basis. What you'll notice is that I have a lot of different shoes that come in a lot of different shapes and sizes and stack heights and all different sorts of things. So what I want to talk about today specifically though is stack height. And what you'll see as I show you some of these shoes is that that's going to vary tremendously based on what I'm going to actually use the shoe for. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these different shoes and why stack height means anything to you. So let's just take a quick look at 3 different shoes that I'm holding right now that serve 3 completely different purposes. Alright, so we're going to start with what many would consider one of the most minimal shoes that's out there. This is my Merrell Vapor, and this thing has basically no stack height in it. It's I think 3 or 4 millimeters. Basically, it's a piece of rubber between my foot and the ground, and that's it. So the amount of stack height on this is pretty much nothing. Go to this one, and now you're looking at the completely opposite end of the spectrum. So this is the Paradigm 4.5, and this thing has, and I need to go back and look at some of the specs on these, but I'll try and put that in the, I'll try and show you guys that right around here somewhere. But basically, this one has a lot of extra stack height in it for the purposes of cushioning. So a lot of people think that cushioning is 100% necessary. Everybody needs that in order to run and not get injured. While some people think that you need 0. And there are many that even think that no shoes is totally fine. But you can see that as you go from one end of the spectrum to the other, you're going to get really differing stack heights between these different shoes. Now this is more of a speed shoe, so it's very lightweight, but the stack height is a little bit different. But the stack height is in between those 2 shoes that I showed you previously. So what does stack height really even mean? So stack height is the amount of material that you have between your foot and the ground. So oftentimes this is measured in millimeters. And as I said before, this one has pretty much nothing in between your foot and the ground, meaning that you are completely reliant on your own body to absorb all of the shock that goes through your body whenever you take a step. Okay? Now with this one, there's a lot of cushioning between you and the ground. So there's again this many millimeters of cushioning between you and the ground, basically taking over some of the responsibility of absorbing the impact on the ground whenever you take a step. So here's the question, which is better? Which is more important? Well, I think that it depends. Just like with anything else, it depends. So do you need a lot of cushioning underneath your foot in order to prevent injury? This is the big question. So we've gone from all different sides of this kind of spectrum. Right now we're looking at shoes like the Hokas that have a ton of cushioning. If you look at those shoes, you've got massive amounts of cushioning between your foot and the ground. You think of the Nike Vaporflies, the 4% that have created so much stir in the running community. A lot of that is because of the amount of stack height that's in that shoe. And that's been the reason that just a little while ago they started putting out, they put out this rule that said that when you are racing, you have to have shoes that are under 40 millimeters of stack height. Otherwise, it's providing too much of an advantage through the spring in that cushioning. So there's a lot of controversy around stack height. Now, you can go to the other end of the spectrum and talk to all the barefoot runners that are out there, and they say, look, if you put stuff under your foot, then what that's going to do is it's going to make you completely reliant on that stuff that's under your foot. And your body is not able to actually absorb that impact itself. And when that happens, our efficiency changes. Our efficiency changes and we end up pounding too hard on that shoe anyway and still end up getting a lot of that shock through our body. So again, it goes all different sides of the spectrum. Now, here's how I want to kind of explain to you how I use my different shoes and the different stack heights within those shoes. So let's go to the very minimal shoe right now with 0 stack height. Basically, it's probably got 2 millimeters. And here's how I use this shoe. I use this as a recovery walking shoe. I use this as a cool down shoe where I will, at the end of a run or something like that, I'll just throw these on and do a few light jogs or something like that. I never go hard in this shoe. I did once, ended up with a calf strain. Not a good idea. So how do I use this one then? Big old stack height, right? Lots of cushioning. For me, this is a great recovery shoe as well, but in a different way. I'm actually putting in some running miles in this. I'll go anywhere between 3 and 6 miles on this shoe. So this is really meant to have a lot of cushioning. It's very soft, it's cushy, it absorbs a lot of impact. For me, this is for when I'm feeling less efficient after a harder run the day before. So this is whenever I am struggling with my efficiency a little bit, and this absorbs some of that impact from when I can't absorb it with my body myself. But I still want to get that run in for that day. Now this shoe, this is a completely different story. It's kind of that middle of the road stack height, but this is a racing shoe. This is a lightweight shoe. I use this for my speed workouts. Whenever I'm doing speed workouts, I'm going really, really hard, and while I am trying to focus on my efficiency, I'm still hitting the ground really, really hard. So I do want a little bit of cushioning and a little bit of stack height to protect me from that. So I do wear these with a little bit of cushioning and a little bit of kind of middle of the road stack height to protect myself whenever I am pounding really hard around the track and during a race or anything like that. And let's bring in one more. So this is my daily trainer. This is my Skechers Go Run Ride 8. And this one is kind of middle of the road, maybe even a little higher stack height than normal, but this is my daily trainer. This is the one where I take it anywhere between 5 and 10 miles. And the reason I like to have that little bit of extra cushion as opposed to this is because when I start hitting those longer miles, getting up in the 9 and 10 mile range, which is long for me, I really want a little bit of extra protection. However, I don't want to use this because this is about 3 ounces heavier than this one. So I want something that's going to be lightweight, but it's also going to protect me over the long term. So this one, to take those really slow, easy days at anywhere between 3 and 6 miles, and this one going in that 5 to 10 mile range, but the lighter weight allows me to go that longer distance. So this is how you kind of play with this stack height stuff and figure out what's right for you for that day. Now I know that not everybody has a full rotation of shoes, so what would I recommend if you could only get one shoe? What I would say is find a good daily trainer. So for me, I use the Skechers Go Run Ride 8. I have some of my gripes with it. Here's the link up in the upper corner here, so you can go and look at my 50-mile review, and that'll tell you a little bit about my gripes with it. However, if I'm only going to choose one shoe to run in and use it for every single run, I'm going to find a lightweight daily trainer with a good little bit of stack height to allow for the longer runs, but also to allow for a little bit of cushioning over the course of that run. So again, if I'm going to recommend one shoe, it is certainly the daily trainer. Whatever brand or shoe that is for you, find that daily trainer in that lineup, and that's probably going to be a pretty good fit for you. Now the next video in the series, we're going to talk a little bit more about the toe box. So if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe down here if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.